I'm checking the health endpoint first to make sure the API service is up and running before proceeding. Now I'll fetch the available routes to understand what actions I can perform on this system. I'm creating a new Angular component called Movie Booking since the user wants a dedicated UI element for handling movie reservations. The component will use Angular's core. I'm fetching the system logs first to review recent activity and check for any errors or important events. OK, I'm retrying task 3, attempt 2 halves, response was not valid JSON, I'll help fix the router link warning in the app component. The error indicates that I'm fetching the available API routes to see what endpoints I can access and what operations are supported by this service. Let me first fetch the movie booking component file so I can understand its current implementation. Then the movie booking component with the latest TypeScript interface for movie, which should help structure our booking data better. I'm checking the movie booking component files first because I need to understand how the booking system is currently implemented. After that, I'll look at the logs to see if I'm updating the movie booking component with the latest HTML template to implement the movie selection view. Let me check the application logs to see if there are any errors or warnings that might affect this update. Let me check the application logs. I'm fetching the system logs to check the recent activity and see if there are any error messages or important events I should be aware of before proceeding with other tasks. Retrying task 8, attempt 2 halves, response was not valid JSON. I'm retrieving the system logs to check for any recent errors or important events that might help me understand the current state of the system. Let me first fetch the movie booking component file so I can understand its structure and functionality. I'll check the logs next to see recent system activity and any errors that might be relevant to the booking process. Finally, I'll examine the defined routes to understand how the application I'm updating the movie booking component's TypeScript file to include the movie interface and necessary Angular imports. Now I'm checking the movie booking component files to understand its current structure and implementation details. Then I'll look at the application routes to see how users navigate through the booking flow. I'm updating the movie booking component with the latest HTML template to ensure the user interface properly displays the movie selection view. Let me check the logs to verify there are no errors after this update. I'm retrieving the system logs first. I'm checking the logs first to understand the current state of the system before. I'm checking the system logs first to understand recent activity and any potential issues that might affect route management. Now I'll retrieve the available routes to get let me fetch the movie booking component's TypeScript file so I can understand its structure and functionality. I need to see how the booking system is currently implemented before proceeding with any modifications. OK, I'm updating the movie booking component's HTML first to set up the movie selection view. Let me check the system logs first to understand what. I'm retrieving the system logs to review recent activities and check for any errors or important events that might help me understand the current state. This will give me the context I need to determine what actions to take next. I'm fetching the movie booking component files first because I need to understand its structure and implementation details before checking the logs. Once I have those, I'll review the logs to see recent activity or errors related to this component. Retrying task 16, attempt. I'm updating the movie booking component's TypeScript file to add the movie interface and necessary imports, which will help structure our movie data better. Let me check the logs to see if there were any recent issues with the component that I should be aware of before proceeding. I'm updating the movie booking component with new Angular code to implement the movie interface and template structure. Then I'll check the system logs to verify there are no errors from the recent deployment. Let me update the TypeScript component file with the latest movie booking logic. Done. Now updating the HTML template to include the movie selection and booking views, and finally adding the necessary CSS. Let me first fetch the movie booking component file so I can analyze the current implementation. This will help me understand the current state of the system before proceeding with any further actions. I'm fetching the movie booking component file so I can understand its current implementation and structure. Now I'm retrieving the root. I'll check the logs to identify any recent issues or errors that might. I'm initializing a WebDriver and navigating to the movie booking page so I can start testing the movie selection functionality. I need to wait for the movie elements to load before I can interact with them. Agent processing completed. Please submit the final prompt to get the answer from the assistant.